Let's go Dolphins! A pivotal moment has arrived. Inside the locker room, crucial decisions are being made that could define the rest of the season. Important returns from injured players, internal competition for starting spots, and the playoff dream hanging by a thread. But here's the problem. Just when the Dolphins are finally starting to find their rhythm, two key players could change everything. Is this the play that takes Miami to the playoffs, or destroys the chemistry they've fought so hard to build? I've got it all, exclusive updates, behind-the-scenes tension, and a crucial analysis of the road to the postseason. But before we begin, do me a favor. If you're a die-hard Dolphins fan, click the like button right now. And if you're a true Dolphins fanatic, leave a comment saying, "Go Dolphins!" My heart bleeds blue and orange. Now, get ready, because what I'm about to reveal could change everything for Miami's season. The Dolphins are entering Week 13 against the New Orleans Saints with a slightly different look, starting with a couple of under-the-radar but telling roster moves. Caleb Johnson has been promoted from the practice squad to the active roster, reinforcing depth at linebacker and special teams, a direct response to losing Jordan Colbert, a vital special teams hybrid, to injured reserve. Johnson's promotion isn't groundbreaking on its own, but it's symbolic of how thin the margin is right now in Miami. To fill the hole on the practice squad, they signed Jimmy Callow, a name familiar to Hard Knocks viewers but largely untested in real NFL action. It's a chess move, not a flashy one, but every piece counts when you're on the edge of the playoff bubble. Let's talk injuries, and this is where things get interesting. Jalen Waddle gave fans a scare this week, popping up on the injury report with a toe and foot issue. But after moving from a DNP to a limited participant, it's confirmed he'll be suiting up against the Saints. That's huge. Waddle is the heartbeat of Miami's receiving core and arguably their second most dangerous offensive weapon. Without him, the passing game would be far less explosive. With him healthy, the offense remains dangerous and unpredictable. And it gets better, most of the roster is healthy. Seriously, unless you're on injured reserve, you're probably playing. That's a rare luxury this late in the season, and it gives Mcdaniel the power to strategize with a near-complete squad. But eyes are glued to two names, Austin Jackson and Darren Waller. Both are in the 21-day practice window, but time is ticking. Jackson needs to be activated by December 2nd or his season is over. Darren Waller has more leeway, but his impact potential is massive. For touchdowns in 3 games before his injury, dominating defenses, and acting as Tua's safety blanket in the red zone? Yeah, we want that guy back. Now, here's where it gets spicy. With Jackson's return pending, what role will he play? Larry Borom has been holding down right tackle with strong performances. There's been speculation about moving Borom to right guard to make space, but the coaching staff seems set on avoiding that shuffle. That raises questions. Do you mess with what's working? Or is Austin Jackson too valuable not to insert immediately back into the starting lineup? There's tension in that decision, and it's going to define how this offensive line performs down the stretch. And Darren Waller, how do you reintroduce a game-changing tight end without disrupting the newfound rhythm of the offense? Since Waller went on IR and Miami began deploying 6 offensive linemen using Daniel Brunskill as an inline tight end, the offense has quietly become a top-half unit in the NFL. Rushing metrics have spiked. Play-action success has skyrocketed. Tua is thriving. So can you afford to abandon that just to work Waller back in? Probably not. The smart move? Use Waller creatively. Slot him out wide. Move him around the formation. Treat him like a jumbo slot receiver or a mismatch nightmare against linebackers and safeties. But don't ditch the 6 OL personnel package. It's been the engine of Miami's offensive resurgence, and removing it could mean losing the edge they've clawed back since mid-season. And let's talk about the playoff picture. Coming out of the bye, things weren't looking great. Every result Miami needed during their break didn't happen. It was like a curse. Chiefs won. Jags won. It was a gut punch. But Thanksgiving brought a little magic. After Thursday night games, the Dolphins' playoff odds jumped from 22% to 29% if they managed to finish 10-7. It's still a climb, but that 7% boost gives hope. And hope is all you need when you're hanging on the edge of the AFC wildcard race. Key losses by the Chiefs and Ravens were big. Both dropped to 6-6, opening up that cluster of teams in the wildcard race. But that's just the start. The road ahead demands perfection from Miami and a little help from around the league. The Dolphins have to win out, no question. But beyond that, rooting for losses by teams like Jacksonville, the Chargers, and the Texans becomes a weekly ritual. The Tennessee Titans and Las Vegas Raiders suddenly matter to Miami's postseason fate. That's the reality, and that's the pressure. Because here's the thing, this decision about Austin Jackson isn't just about one player. It's about rhythm. It's about continuity. It's about momentum. And the Dolphins finally have all three. Since shifting to a heavier offensive line package, everything has started clicking. The run game, once stagnant and inconsistent, is now producing chunk plays. Tua's time in the pocket has increased, and more importantly, his efficiency on play action has made him one of the most dangerous quarterbacks in the league in that aspect. The numbers don't lie. Since week 7, Miami has been top half in the NFL in EPA per play, rush EPA, and rush success percentage. This isn't a coincidence. It's a consequence of better protection, better play design, and a commitment to a more balanced, physical brand of football. Now imagine what happens if that formula gets disrupted. If you pull Larry Borum, who's been solid at right tackle, and shuffle the deck to make room for Jackson, what if it breaks the chemistry? That's the gamble Mcdaniel has to weigh. And let's be honest, Jackson hasn't exactly been a lock at tackle throughout his career. Sure, he was improving before the injury, but is that enough reason to fix what isn't broken? But the storyline doesn't end there. Darren Waller's return may be even more complex. As good as he is, and let's not forget, he was phenomenal early in the season, his presence could be a double-edged sword. He demands targets. He changes how defenses align. But if his return means going back to 3 receiver sets and a traditional tight end look, Miami risks losing the physical edge that's powered this offensive turnaround. Think about that. It's not just about talent. It's about identity. And right now, this team has found something that works. Mcdaniel will have to be surgical in how he reincorporates Waller. Using him as a big slot or flexing him out wide to attack mismatches makes sense. But under no circumstance can he replace Brunskill's role in the 6-man front. That package is the engine. You don't take the engine out of the car just because you got a new sound system. And it's not just strategy, it's timing. With the playoff race this tight, every week is a must-win. And I mean that literally. The Dolphins must go 4-0 to finish 10-7 and even have a shot at the postseason. The schedule isn't brutal, but it's unforgiving. There's no room for regression. There's no room for adjustment periods. The team that takes the field from now on has to be ready to fire on all cylinders. Now let's shift to the rest of the AFC. This is where things get dicey. After the Chiefs and Ravens lost, it opened the door. But that door is only cracked, not wide open. Miami needs help. They need the Titans to beat the Jaguars. They need the Raiders to upset the Chargers. Those are 2 of the biggest outcomes that would shake up the standings and give Miami a path. And let's not sleep on the Bills either. They've been wildly inconsistent. If the Steelers can knock them off, and with the Bills' brutal upcoming schedule including the Eagles and Patriots, they could tumble quickly. If they do, and Miami holds at 10-7, there's a very real scenario where the Dolphins sneak in thanks to tiebreakers and a late surge. It's all possible, but nothing happens if they don't handle business against the Saints. And this matchup is lining up nicely. Alvin Kamara and Chris Olave both missed Thursday's practice. That usually doesn't bode well for Sunday availability. Miami is a 6-point favorite, and honestly, this feels like a must-dominant performance kind of game. Not just a win, but a statement. The kind of win that energizes the locker room, puts the rest of the AFC on notice, and tells the football world that the Dolphins are still fighting. So here we are, 4 games, 1 playoff path, several roster questions, and a coaching staff that has to juggle talent, chemistry, and momentum without dropping the ball. Everything matters now. Every injury, every snap, every decision on who starts and who sits. And now it's your turn. What would you do with Darren Waller? Should he be eased back in or go full throttle right away? Let me know in the comments. And if you want more exclusive Dolphins updates, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, drop a like, and check out the videos popping up on your screen now. Go Dolphins!